You have no idea what you have done. The blighted elven gods walk free, all because you disrupted my ritual.
You battle against gods. They will not rest until you are on your knees. Fearful, cowering, helpless in the face of such power.
Rook, you've got this. I've seen your work. You're clever, adaptable, and you don't know when to quit.
You want allies to go after the gods? I've got places to look.
Where do we start? I'll be damned. A griffin. In war, victory. I'm ready.
I've never seen this before. There's something kind of exciting about it. What is happening to me?
Let the Fade draw close!
Draw the dragon out into the open. Then attack.
You and me, Rook. Maybe that's what scares me.
These are the times in which legends are born or slain.
Our gods are back. Our gods. How do we stand against that?
I believe in all of us, so let's get it done.
Well, that was a hell of a trailer. Oh, that was so freaking good. It was everything I wanted from a release day trailer or any trailer. It's just brilliant. It gave us like a lot of information, a lot of hints. Oh, it was just so good. It's really built up the hype for me even more, which I did not think was possible because I've been hyped for this game for about 10 years. So, since I basically finished Trespasser for the first time, and I was like, yep, I'm ready for the next one. And oh, God, I cannot wait. But right, let's go through that, see what we can find. I've already looked through it myself slowly, made my notes, so go pretty quickly. Right then, think we all knew that very early on.
You have no idea what you have done.
Right, let's start off with this. This is Solas's ritual site from the start of the game where he, or we, I should say, accidentally release the Evanuris. We know Solas after that because of the Game Informer article is trapped in the Fade or a pocket kind of dimension of the Fade, I guess is the best way to refer to it. It's where he was going to put the Evanuris. So if you've missed that part, Solas obviously trying to tear down the veil and let the Fade in to the mortal world. But before that, he had to move the Evanuris from the prison in the Fade into a new prison, and that's what we kind of disrupted. My guess is this is the new prison. It could be the old prison that they were in the Fade, but I guess it's the new one, and that's why Solas is kind of trapped there and can't just leave like he was in the Fade, because I imagine he could just leave if he was in the Fade. We know we talked to Solas during the game. Whether we hear him in our head or we actually go here and talk to him, I don't know, but if we do go and talk to him, I imagine this is where it's going to be. I said, like, I imagine it is Fade adjacent because it does reflect the ritual site, and we know that the Fade is a weird mirror reflection of Theta, so this makes a lot of sense that it would look obviously like the ritual site. But I really do like the black and white color actually look. It's really cool. It's really daunting on it.
The blighted elven gods walk free, all because...
Okay, just replay that line there.
The blighted elven gods walk free, All because you disrupted my ritual.
Oh, I held that down a bit too long and he sped up a bit. But yeah, the blighted elven gods run free or walk free or whatever he said. Biggest theory in H fandom for a while has been that the elven gods are connected to the old gods slash archdemons and the blight. This was kind of hinted slash confirmed that in the Game Informer article when they were talking about fighting Darkspawn and Arlathan and how the Darkspawn are linked with elves. Solas is basically now, I guess, confirmed it fully. Blight is from the Elven Gods. There's been like a bunch of lore bits that's kind of hinted at this, but it seems, yeah, the Blight is going to play a big part in Veilguard, which is kind of cool.
You battle against gods.
Right, well, she says we battled against gods. There they are, but we've already seen that. But
gods.
that voice,
They will
Morrigan.
not rest.
I'm going to go back a second because I want to look at that scene. But yeah, Morrigan is back.
You
That
battle
is
against gods.
so cool. Claudia Black said on Twitter she was not coming back from Morrigan. She hadn't been asked to return for Veilguard. The voice actors lie because they're under NDAs and contracts and everything else under the sun, not to mention that they're in a project until they're told they're allowed to. So I imagine that's been something she's been sitting on for a while. It's so cool to see her. Now, this shot here, this is Antiva, judging by its design. Like, it's got a very Mediterranean look to it, which is definitely Antiva or Ravane. But I'm going to guess this is Antiva, judging by other, like, shots we saw, like, years ago when the game was still Dreadwolf and concept art. And it's on fire, so obviously something big is going on. There's two possibilities I can think of. This is Trevaso or it's Antiva City. We know basically on like the Missing comic and the Rates of Tevinter comics and Tevinter Knights book that the Canary are invading southern Thedas, sort of dealing with Tevinter, but are moving into other areas, including Antiva, and we know that the Antivan Crows are fighting against them. The last we've seen is that the Canary have Trevaso City, which is one of the main cities of Antiva. So either this is Trevaso and this is like open rebellion against the Canary, either maybe we're helping it or the Crows are leading it or something, or the more likely option is that this is Antiva City and we're seeing the Canary siege it. Between the two, I think that's the more likely option. This is Antiva City and the Canary are attacking it. I do hope that the Canary war slash invasion is actually going to play a part in Veilguard, because other than the hints in like Tevinter Knights and the Missing and Rates of Tevinter, like we've seen nothing about the actual Canary slash Cune for Veilguard. We don't know what they're up to. Like, they could still be a major part of the game, and obviously BioWare just isn't showing that off yet, or doesn't want to show it off at all until the game actually comes out, because they don't want spoilers, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, my guess would say Canary are invading Antiva City.
They will not rest until you are on.
Well, I said that, and I also forgot that there is actually a scene here that makes it look like it's not. Sorry, we're going to go back.
You battle against gods. They will not rest until...
We got a new version of Rook. We saw this in a promotional image that came out yesterday, and obviously Lucanus is there in the corner. So the purple armor Rook that we saw in the gameplay trailer was a shadow dragon, and he was a rogue. So that was obviously the armor assigned to them. But who is this one? My guess is this is a warrior grey warden. Like you can see here, it looks like griffin wings just up here on the collar. There's a symbol there, but I can't quite make it out. Like the armor here and here does give grey warden vibes, so my guess is this is meant to be a warden, especially with the blue colouring as well, actually here and everywhere, because blue is just a very grey warden colour.
Till you are on your knees.
Okay, so yeah, still this possible Antiva City place. Tentacles coming off. My guess is this is Gillenon. Yeah, so maybe the Canary aren't invading Antiva City, or maybe they are, and Gillenon is just kind of here at the same time, or maybe she's involved in the Canary at some point, because there is that theory that the Canary are like an offshoot of elves. Maybe she's gone and somehow taken control of the Canary army, or the Canary as a whole, and now she's leading them. That would be interesting.
Fearful.
Right, I have no clue what this is. We have a person up here who we can see pointed ears is an elf. No clue who they are though. Tentacles wrapping around them. I thought they were vines at one point, but they are tentacles. And these pustules here, and look, you can see even there's more bodies like put into it around there. So obviously I do think this is the blight. It's obviously what we're meant to think it is. I have two guesses of what's going on here. The first is this is a captured companion or ally we're meant to free. The first thing that popped into my mind though was that it's a broodmother. I don't know if it is going to be a broodmother because how do you say this? There's some controversy around how broodmothers are made. There's some stuff that's implied. It's never really said out, and it's something that I think BioWare just isn't kind of happy they put into the world, or they put it into the world in Origins when they were trying to be cool and edgy, and now they're not kind of a fan of it. So I don't know. Like, we haven't seen Broodmothers since Origins, and I'd be very, very shocked if it was. Just when I saw that, the first thing that popped in my mind was, oh, it could be just a new design for Broodmothers.
Coward.
Right, here we have Rook. Rook looks angry, actually. I just noticed that Rook is pissed. Is he pissed off at the person he's looking at, or is he just pissed off at what he sees? Like, is he actually angry at that elven figure, or is he just angry in general? What's going on? But we can see we've got Bellara, Nev, and Harding in this scene. Now, we should only have 2 companions, because that is the new feature that we only got 2 companions. So why do we have 3? Now, we know Bellara is the 3rd companion we get after Harding and Nev. So maybe this is Bellara's recruitment mission, which we got a little bit of in the Game Informer article. And obviously this will make this very early on in game.
Help.
Okay, so we got Gillen on here, and by the looks of it, she's been attacked by some grey wardens, I think. They look like grey wardens to me. The rocky outcrop does look like from scenes we're going to see later on. It looks very Anderfels, so this could be Grey Wardens attacking Gillenon. Gillenon looks like this weird, horrible stitch monster creature. Multiple limbs and bodies stuck together, tentacles, arms there, her head piece is somewhere here. Looks like as well she's got a sword or some sort of spear run through her gut by the looks of it, and she's trying to remove it. This whole look for Gillenon makes a lot of sense though, because if you've read the short story Horror of Hormak in the novel To Winter Nights, you know weird stitch monsters for Gillenon. Makes a lot of sense that that's what she looks like. Right, so this is the best shot you can really get, but it's Elgaron coming to Gillenon's rescue, which I'm a bit surprised by. Like, traditionally, the Elven gods do not like each other and do not get along. They're kind of, when they were at their peak, they were always fighting with each other for, I was going to say worshippers, slaves is probably a better word, but seeing them work together is a bit surprising. I guess because they're the only 2 in a world that is probably fully against them for the most part. It makes sense they would work together. I imagine maybe in kind of an uneasy alliance. Maybe this is still early on in the game, and after they come back, maybe they kind of split apart. She's in danger. He comes to her rescue in the kind of idea of, I'll save you, but maybe you owe me now kind of thing.
In the face of such.
Right, you see everyone thrown back. No clue who this is with the hammer. These just seem to be maybe generic Grey Wardens. Maybe this is a specific Grey Warden that we get to meet. I don't recognize style. Can't even tell if it's a man or woman. My guess says it's a woman, but also by the shape, they look dwarven, but I'm not entirely sure. Kind of hard to tell, but the fact that like the other wardens, or I'm assuming wardens, judging by like the kind of griffin, what looks like griffin wings here on their helmets, they're all kind of dressed the same in just basic generic warden armor. And this person's a bit more unique in the middle. My guess is they are actually somebody important. Whether we know them or not, I don't know.
Power.
Right, first dragon. You know what? I'll keep going. We'll get a better look at the dragon in a minute.
Rook,
Right, we've seen all
you've got
this.
this.
That's just the original gameplay shown off, but now with the new warden rook
You're
rather than the
clever.
old rook.
adaptable. And you don't know when.
Right, dragon. First of many dragons. There's like 4 different dragons in this game, or in this trailer, I should say. Got a weird glowing part here in the middle. That's an eye. I was wondering, like, is that another glowing part? No, that's just an eye. But there's these weird pustules. Actually, no, before I do this, sorry, yeah, I forgot to look at this first, actually. In this scene here, Harding's got some scarring along her face, and originally I thought it was just like battle damage from a cutscene. But everyone else looks fine. I guess is whatever, because you see it later on as well in another scene, whatever is giving Harding magic, because we know Harding gets magic, has left this mark on her, and we'll see that in a bit more detail later.
And you don't know when.
Right, so you can see this dragon is covered in these weird pustule marks along its horns, and you can kind of see a little bit more around here. It could obviously be a design choice. However, if you play Dragon Age Inquisition, you can meet a guy called Frederick, who is this like dragon researcher. And if you kill every dragon or every optional dragon in that game, you get a war table mission revolving around Frederick as well, where you kind of like ask him to examine the corpses of the dragons to kind of assess, just kind of say like, hey, let's learn a bit more about dragons. And he finds that the dragons are kind of corrupted, at least some of them are corrupted by the blight, but the dragons' bodies are naturally resistant to the blight, and they've kind of formed these like, I guess, cysts or scar tissue around the blight, and it's not stopping the blight from spreading through the dragon's body, but it's kind of slowing it down, like kind of just packing it in. I wonder if that's what this is, like if these are these cysts. This dragon is now infected with the blight, but these kind of cysts here are stopping it from spreading, or at least delaying it from spreading, and we're going to see it spread more and more throughout its body. we see this dragon appear a bit more in the trailer and in other locations. So I wonder if maybe this dragon is a bit more important to the game. It's not just like a one-off enemy and it's going to be seen as the game progresses. Maybe it is one of the other dragons we see later on, and this is just how it looks now. And then later on, as the game progresses, it'll look a bit different. You can also see here, there's a person there in like rock, I guess. Hang on, let's.
When to quit.
See, that looked like it moved.
And you don't know
Yeah,
when
that's
to quit.
moving. It's not the dragon holding him, so something there is obviously gripping a person and it's moving. Maybe they're vying someone out of the ground and it's biting him in place, or maybe it's something elven or something dark spawny. Who knows?
Quit.
Head back to them in Rathos.
You want allies to go after the gods?
Nev has a unique look here. Yeah, she's got a bit of a unique look here. It's a bit more casual and open. Her hair is down. She doesn't have that weird square hat, which I'm like 50-50 on. And what do you guys think of the weird square hat? I'm not mad on it, but it's not terrible. Maybe this is the lighthouse we're in, and like this is her casual at base look. Also similar, like Rook is out of armor, but has still kind of the Grey Warden-esque look to him there.
I've got places to look.
Right, so Nev there says, you're putting together a team, and she's like, oh, I've got places to look. I just reread the missing there. The missing ends, and it's implied that it's just like maybe a very short while before Veilguard begins, but it ends with Harding and Varric talking and being like, oh, we can't catch Solas because he knows us too well. That's who he's going to stay ahead of us. We've got to put together a team. And that's like implying like, oh yeah, this is Rook and the other Veilguard. But when they're talking about that, Nev is standing right behind them. I wonder if maybe they were like, Nev, will you put together a list of people we can recruit? And then that's how she gets Davrin and Emmerich and Lucanus. I think it's implied like Bellerobe were just kind of going to meet randomly, but maybe Harding and Varric were like, Nev, can you put together a team? And that's how our companions start. Kind of like in Mass Effect 2. We're not meeting our companions as the story naturally progresses, like in, let's say, Origins or DA2 or Inquisition. But it's more like, here's a list of people I think we could use. Let's go get them. And then kind of when the game fully opens up for us, we'll have the map. And it's like, yeah, you've got these 5 quests. Do them in any order you want. Doesn't matter. And at the end of each quest, you'll get a new companion assigned to you. Just going to move this a bit more so we get a bit more of a shot. So obviously this is the ritual site. Back when we stopped Solas and accidentally summoned some evil elven gods. During the day, so obviously it's a completely different time. Obviously Varric's not there, so that's how we know it's completely different. Yeah, some time has passed. I guess, though, maybe this is pretty quickly on. We know this is in Arlathan Forest, and Arlathan Forest is where we meet and recruit Belera, and that's the first quest we do after the prologue, after like the accidentally unleashing the elven gods part. So maybe this is it then. Maybe we're coming back here, we're going to look around, interact with the Veil Jumpers, and then go off and recruit Belera and find out a little bit more about what's going on.
Done.
Right. Oh, Darvin, we'll see you in a second. Or Davrin, not Darvin, Davrin. Yeah, this is obviously the Anderfels. It's a pretty barren looking area which screams Anderfels. No clue what these things are. We've seen something that looks like these in previous trailers. See, I assume these were like giant swords looking around like their hilts. I'm guessing this is meant to be Whiteside Fortress, the Grey Warden headquarters. So maybe these are for defense or something. Maybe they're part of some arcane or mechanical defense against attacking Darkspawn. Honestly, I got no idea.
I'll be damned. A griffin.
We've got Darvin fighting some Darkspawn here. I do like the new Darkspawn look. They look more monstrous, more blighted. It is weird that they've kind of changed the Darkspawn design so many times across all 4 games, but like I'm okay with it. It's like this looks really monstrous and really, really horrifying. Not sure how I feel about the lack of armor though. I did kind of like the Darkspawn being, armored and carrying weapons and shields and having some sense of like societal structure. Who is this child? So obviously we've got Darvin here, we've got Rook in the back. Who is this? Maybe it's his child. Darvin has a child. You've seen some wardens have kids. It's hard for wardens to have kids, but not impossible. And maybe he had her before he became a warden. Maybe it's a younger sibling. Maybe she's an initiate for the wardens, but she seems very, very young. I imagine this is Weishaupt and they're fighting their way through a Darkspawn attack. We can see another Darkspawn there chasing them, so yeah, maybe this is the Darwin recruitment mission and it's all about escorting and saving this person.
War, victory.
Okay, Asan killing a darkspawn. I'm guessing it's a darkspawn. We see a bunch of cages in the back. Could just be a monster because we know Darwin is a monster hunter in general, so maybe it's just it. My guess is if it is a darkspawn, it's an emissary or maybe a shriek. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, it looks very thin. It doesn't look like the darkspawn that we saw a second ago. Like, their mouth and their top seems to be covered in cloth, and they've got this massive headpiece. Maybe it's an emissary. Maybe it's a darkspawn emissary. I mean, if I was being really hopeful, I'd say it's one of those talking darkspawns from Awakening, the disciples, because I really want them to return, because that's a plot point that was just kind of left hanging in the air. Right, underwater runes. This is really interesting. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, the runes look very blue. And then I was like, oh, they're underwater. The manta ray and fish or some aquatic life. But obviously, you can also see the water effect here on the runes. Yeah, I don't know where this could be. They look elven, but I'm not entirely sure. We know Arlathan, the city, sank in world. It says, oh, Tevinter did it, but then it's like, oh no, Arlathan fell when Solas sealed away the Evanuris. I think they say, like, oh, there's a bit of time between the Evanuris being sealed away and Arlathan fully falling. But if I remember right, Arlathan falls into the earth. It doesn't sink into the ocean, it goes into the ground. Now, maybe it goes into the ground and then water comes and fills it up. Like, it's maybe like this isn't the sea or ocean, maybe it's a lake. Maybe Arlathan was on the coast, so it did sink into the ground, but then the ocean kind of spilled in after it. Maybe this isn't Arlathan, maybe this has nothing to do with elves, maybe it's somewhere like off Antiva or Ravane, maybe. Not everything in Dragon Age has to be elves. It is. Everything in Dragon Age is elves, but it doesn't have to be. Alright, Lucanus fighting some Venatori. Actually, no, we'll get a better shot of it here. What is going on with these wings? Because we got 7 companions. 3 of them are confirmed as mages: Emmerich, Nev, Belera. Then we've got Darvin and Tash, which I'm pretty sure are meant to be the warriors. And then Harding and Lucanus, which are the rogues. But we know Harding's getting magic, and now it looks like Lucanus is getting magic. So I wonder, when Solas tears open the veil and leaves that scar, does magic just become a bit more relevant in the world? Like, do people who were not meant to be mages just start getting magical abilities? Maybe not full on magic like a mage, like being able to cast fireballs and healing spells and other stuff like that, but just get abilities similar to how, like, the warden, or not the warden, the inquisitor has the mark on their hand that gives them specific unique abilities to them. Because his look very assassiny and very crow, because obviously they're wings, and it gives off crow assassin vibes. So yeah, like, it's very specific for him. We also know from the Wigmaker job, which is a short story from Tevinter Nights, that Lucanus has connection with magic is maybe a bit of a jump. But, like, there's lines in the short story where it's like, whenever someone taps into the fade, so whenever someone uses magic, basically, the back of his eyeballs itch, which is such a weird choice of words and such a weird phrase. So I wonder if, like, he's just got this very loose connection with magic, like this just hint or whisper of it, that when the veil tore open, he was able to get magical abilities. And I wonder, like, if he has magical abilities and Harding has magical abilities, will Tash and Darvin also have magical abilities and we just haven't seen them yet? Does everyone just have a faint connection to magic now? Interesting idea.
I've never seen this before.
Belera is doing some stuff there. We know from the Game Informer article that her recruitment mission does revolve around us kind of going back to Arlathan, and we have to seek out Belera to get her help. And she is looking into an artifact within Arlathan. So my guess is this is her recruitment mission, and we're kind of coming across her finding this weird looking device artifact thing. It's very, very strange.
Exciting about it.
Dwarven runes, nothing to really talk about. I don't think it's Orzammar. Like, it could be. I just doesn't really give Orzammar vibes by the looks of it. And it's definitely not Kal Sharok, because Kal Sharok is deep in the earth. Like, it doesn't have a connection to the surface. Like, it doesn't have an entrance like Orzammar. My guess is this is not Orzammar or Kal Sharok. I don't think it's any of the Great Tigers. Could be Hormak. I highly doubt it though. But like, Hormak is connected to a mountain, and we can see it's in a mountainous region. So maybe. But I feel it's just like a dwarven outpost or something. or most likely a mine, because we can see here a lyrium mine. So obviously dwarves are the ones who mine lyrium, and they give it to the chantry and the circles. So yeah, my guess is that last still was the entrance to the mine, and this is the actual mine. Right, yeah. Let's just walk it through. Right, go back now. But there was Harding using her magical abilities. You can see the scarring we saw earlier on in that shot with the dragon is glowing, and it's also on her arms when she uses her magic. Yeah, obviously that scarring is linked to her magic in some way, and here she is petrifying these darkspawn, turning them into stone. We've only really seen Solas do it at the end of Inquisition and in Trespasser when he turned Flemeth/Saul to stone, and he was turning all the Canary to stone. Now he was doing it just by his eyes glowing, but Harding probably not as naturally gifted with magic, is obviously maybe having to put a bit of effort and a bit of strain into turning them to stone. Harding's magic could be heavily linked to Solas.
What is happening to me?
Yeah, Ali Hillis just proving time and time again what an incredible voice actor she is. We are here now in, I would assume, Navarra, and the one of at least the many necropolises. Emmerich sporting a fairly different looking outfit, very ostentatious. We've seen Nev be in different outfits in this trailer. I don't think this is at the lighthouse, or like his casual relaxing outfit. It must be just a variant for him. We can see here as well, like on his shoulder and elbows, like these patches that look like I think they look like pyramids to me. And we know like the necropolises where the Navarrans bury and entomb their dead are pyramids. So that would make sense that the design, like they would incorporate something so iconic to their culture in the design of their clothes. Right, we've got two guys here on either side, a woman and a hooded figure. My guess is they're more watch like Emmerich, and I think this guy might be Audric and Myrina or Myrana, however you want to pronounce her. They were two characters from the Tevinter Night short stories, who do appear alongside Emmerich. Emmerich's like a very much a supporting character in that story. It's mainly about, I was going to say about these two. If it is the two I'm thinking they are, it's about these two. It would make sense that they would be in the necropolis with Emmerich working alongside him.
Let the Fade draw close!
Right, so he goes, let the Fade draw close, is what he says.
Let the Fade.
But we got this big ass skelly boy right here who looks so cool. No idea what this is, or like there's no, as far as I can think of the lore, there's nothing, there's no like giant skeleton being or god or whatever. But I do have theories. First, you can see that his clothing here in design, it's very similar to what Emmerich is wearing. It's not an exact copy, but it's quite similar enough. So it's obviously Navarran in nature. I'm wondering also, in Dragon Age lore, when a demon possesses a mage, they become an abomination. But when they possess a corpse, they become a walking skeleton. And for most part, they're just skeletons for the lower level demons. If a desired demon possesses a skeleton, it becomes an arcane horror. And if a pride demon possesses a skeleton, it's a revenant. So I wonder, because in Inquisition we saw despair, envy, and fear demons were introduced to the series. I wonder if this is what happens if one of those demons is put into skeletons. Maybe this is a fear demon inside a skeleton fully possessing it and letting loose. Because that would actually make a bit of sense. When like, what would be the biggest fear for a necromancer? That they'd accidentally unleash and create some giant skeleton creature that would try and destroy everything around them. That would be pretty terrifying, that you weren't able to control your necromantic abilities. So maybe this is what happens when a fear demon goes inside a skeleton. Also, I wonder if it's going to be like a Dark Souls, Elden Ring style boss, just like this massive ass thing that we're going to be running and hitting. I can remember people saying, oh, the combat looks a bit Dark Soulsy. Like, this is a long time ago, like before we've saw anything. But yeah, I wonder, it'd be cool if there was like one or two Dark Soul-esque bosses in the game.
Draw close!
Once again, yeah, looks like we're in the Anderfels. It's a very rocky, barren kind of setting. We can see down here this red area is most likely infected with the blight. And this is obviously meant to be Andraste. And the Anderfels is very devout chantry. Like, they have like blasphemy laws, basically. Like, if you speak out against the chantry, like, it's punishable by death or imprisonment or whatever it is. Even though it's not the center of the religion, it's even more religious than some other places in Thedas.
Draw the dragon out into the open.
Getting the impression that the trailer is showing us off the different recruitment missions for each of our companions, because that seems to be the kind of vibe I'm getting by what we're looking at. This one, you can see Tash is talking about drawing things out into the open. She's got armed warriors with her, maybe other lords of fortune like her, maybe just some other hired guys. There's Ballista here, and it looks like another one there. Perfect for taking out flying dragons. Um, yeah, like it looks like we're on the other quest as well, like what we've seen of Lucanus and Bellara and Emmerich in this trailer, that we're seeing all their different recruitment missions. Right, this doesn't look like the same setting though as we see Bellara, or as we just saw Tash in. Also, this is definitely the dragon from earlier on, but it's now night. Now it could just be the same sequence as earlier on, but played out a bit longer. Maybe it just lasts several hours, like in game, which is why it's night. Or as I said, maybe this dragon is popping in and out of the game as it progresses. Like this doesn't look like the last shot we just had a second ago. I'll go back to it. Like, look, it's very rocky. It looks like it's corrupted with the blight here. It's very desolate. Like this looks more like the Anderfels again, where this doesn't. This is too green. This is too vibrant. Looks like snowy peaks as well in the back. So I think this is just some clever editing to make it look like Tash and the gang are hunting this dragon when in fact they're hunting a different dragon. Which would make sense actually of why we're recruiting Tash for what we're going to see in a second. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Hang on, I want to look at Tash because she looks badass as hell. It looks Canary, but at the same time it looks very different, so it's probably to help us differentiate her from other Canary we'll see in Veilguard. A lot of gold, like gold up here, gold here, gold here, gold weapons, gold nails, gold jewelry all around her. It's so dope. And it makes a lot of sense for her design. Tash is a member of the Lord of Fortunes, or she's at least affiliated with them, and the Lords of Fortunes are treasure hunters. So it makes sense that Tash would be all decked out in like fine gold, like that one of her horns is jade, like she's just showing off. Like, how do you show off as a treasure hunter? You deck yourself out in the treasures you've been hunting so you can show off and be like, yes, this is how damn badass I actually am. Yeah, back to Devinter. We know about designs of seen earlier stuff. We don't know if this is Minrathos, but I'm going to guess it is.
You and me, Rook. Maybe that's what scares me.
Okay, bit of romance there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to romance Harding in my first playthrough because Harding was who I wanted to romance in Inquisition, and then I found out that little flirting with her doesn't lead anywhere, so that's who I'm going to be probably romancing, I guess. And then we've got this raven, looks like it's flying through the ruins of Arlathan, probably somebody very important.
These are the times in which legends are born.
Morrigan, she's back. Oh, got a lot to say about Morrigan. First of all, love the new design. Bit of a canary vibe to it as well. Like this part here and this kind of covering around her stomach. It looks very canary. Gold necklace though, that's still just very Morrigan. It's nice to see after 10 years as well of wearing the same outfit that she actually decided to change her clothes. Now up here though, this is very unique. This is Mythal's, or Flemeth's I should say, her mother's. And that is very, very unique. To the end of Inquisition, the post-credit scene, before Solas kills Flemeth/Mythal, Flemeth puts Mythal's essence into an Illuvienne, and through some data mining and stuff that developers said, that is Mythal's essence for Morrigan to find, because that's always been Flemeth's goal, to pass on the essence of Mythal to Morrigan, which we assume has been happening for generations and like through all of Flemeth's daughters, and now Morrigan is the next host. And it seems she is stepping into that role, which is maybe a bit sad, but it also makes a lot of sense for her character arc. Like in Origins, Morrigan is there to help the Warden achieve their destiny of ending the Blight. She doesn't appear in 2, but then she returns in Inquisition, and once again, she's there to help the Inquisitor with their destiny of closing the breach and stopping Corypheus. So it makes sense that after helping 2 of the biggest heroes in Thedas reach their destiny, she would now be going forward to achieve her destiny of becoming Mythal, and also getting some good old-fashioned revenge on the Evaners after they screwed Mythal over in the past.
These are the times in which legends are born.
Yeah, you can see here, there is obviously a Hala statue, and this does look like Arlathan. What is her role going to be when we find her? Is she doing her own thing? Is she leading her own elves? Is she leading maybe the remnants of Solas's group? Because we know from stuff like Devinter Knights and Rates of Devinter that Solas had his own faction, his own army of elves working to help him achieve his goals. Without him around, what happens to them? Maybe Morrigan has taken them over and now they're like, maybe now they're serving Mythal rather than serving the Dreadwolf. We don't know. I guess we'll see, but it's very interesting what her role is going to be. Hopefully, maybe we can change it though. Maybe she's not bound to serve Mythal and just repeat the cycle of like that Flemeth had set out so long ago. It'll also be interesting to see how different Morrigan's role is going to be in the story based on like if she's a mother to Kieran or not, like in either form, whether he's the old god Kieran or just a regular child, how he is going to appear in Veilguard. But if he does, like how is Morrigan going to be different? Is she going to be a bit more I am Ethel and I must get vengeance if Kieran is not around? Because Inquisition shows Morrigan to be a very good and caring mother, and it'd be very hard to see her like abandoning that and abandoning Kieran. It'd be hard to see her abandon that for a revenge plot against the Evanuris, unless it was to protect Kieran. Or maybe to avenge Kieran? Bit of a grim thought.
Born or slain.
Right, Morrigan again. Emmerich in the back in a different outfit this time. I think that's more the older outfit we saw him in the past. Also on the ground here, looks like more blight corruption everywhere. The blight is going to play a big part in this game. And Morrigan just doing some badass magic against some sort of enemy. October. Right, actually, I'll let this play out and I'll go back. These are crows and they're fighting venatori. And my guess is everyone in the venatori is carrying a red weapon. So I wonder, it's like they must be using red lyrium weapons similar to the Red Templars. Now, we've got Antivan crows here. I'm guessing these are Antivan crows by their design. They match the designs of the Antivan crows from the Missing comic and other times we've seen them in the comics, so it makes sense. This guy is not Lucanus. I have a vague theory.
Born
Let's go
or
through.
slain.
So I want to stop at a specific point. This woman here, kind of hard to see, a bit blurry, maybe just a bit more forward. Yeah, that looks like an elven ear there. In Tevinter Nights, there is a short story called Eight Talons or Eight Little Talons, which is basically like a murder mystery whodunit. And two of the characters in that are, and I'm going to butcher these names. Well, there's Viago, that's an easy name to butcher. Sorry, that's an easy name not to butcher. And then there is Andara Alethea, I can't pronounce it. But she is an elf, and the two of them, along with others, are the Talons. And the Eight Talons are the ones who run the Antivan Crows. So they are two of the Talons, but they still go out on missions and do like assassination stuff. And we've seen from the Missing comic, we do see the two of them. And this woman here does look a lot like that woman's name, who I cannot pronounce. And I'm not going to bother trying again because I will just butcher it. Like they do go off and they are hunting and fighting venatori. So it makes a lot of sense that this could be those two guys. Right, yeah, and then we've got, this is Lucanus, and he's against some mage here, I guess. She's got a staff glowing red, which means either red lyrium or blood magic. My guess is red lyrium because you're going to see a bit more of it in a second. It doesn't look bloody, if that makes sense. Like whenever we see blood magic in the games, it's over the top bloody. Like the magic is blood and it has a blood-like effect to it. We can also see the same woman from earlier on, who I cannot pronounce, lying on the ground here. It looks like she's wounded. My guess is this scene here is a continuation or part of that last scene. This woman does look a venatori in her design. So my guess is this is Lucanus' recruitment mission. He's on a job with Viago and the woman, dealing with the venatori and a possible red lyrium mage, which is actually quite interesting because we've seen red lyrium with Templars in Dragon Age Inquisition and Dragon Age 2 with Meredith. We've seen it affect dwarves and other people. I don't think we've seen red lyrium being used by a mage at any point. I could be wrong, maybe in a book and I'm just forgetting the scene or in a comic. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we've only seen red lyrium being used by warriors, essentially regular people or Templars. So this would be very interesting to see how a red lyrium mage works and how different their spells are going to be fueled. My guess is this is Lucanus' recruitment mission and we're going to kind of interrupt it, give them a hand, and maybe the two talents will be like to Lucanus, oh, go with the Veilguard, go with Rook, give them a hand in stopping Solas, or not stopping Solas, stopping the Evanuris and save the world, because if you don't, that's not really good for business. And yeah, it's just got this cool explosion with this. Ooh, no. Right, it's got this cool glyph here. don't know anything about it. It looks cool, but like it's probably just meant to be a really cool design. But it doesn't look blood magic-y. I'll say that. It's got a very unique look to it. I can't like really place it with anything or any kind of school of magic. Could just be a random new design they came up with. But yeah, I just think it looks really cool, and I just wanted to point it out. Reminds me a lot of Kingdom Hearts, though. I don't know why. I'm looking at it and it's just screaming in my head. Kingdom Hearts. I've not played that game in a long time, so I don't know where it's coming from.
Our god.
Alright, so we've got Rook, Emmerich, and Manfred coming in, interrupting this ritual going on. We can see the people in the back there running away. Obviously, whatever's going on probably shouldn't be going on. It's not normal for the Mortalitasi, I guess. I love Manfred as like his whole design here. He's got like the backpack on his back, but also just like everything he's carrying for Emmerich is up inside his ribs. It's not like it's not in his backpack, it's not carrying. And it makes sense, it's a natural storage compartment in a skeleton, so it would make sense that free up his hands, shove everything up inside of his rib cage because it's hollowed out and empty. Right, got this skeleton creature again at some point. Obviously, same scene, looks different. Mortalitasi surrounding it, either doing a ritual to summon it or doing a ritual to bind it. My gut says that when the veil tore open, like as I said, magic just goes haywire. It's why some people who should not have magic do have magic, but also maybe that's why demons and abominations and possessed things are just getting a bit like more prevalent, a bit more common, a bit more stronger. And maybe that's what Rook comes along to find. He's like, turns up at the necropolis. He's like, hey, Emmerich, I want to recruit you to help me. And Emmerich's like, great, cool. But there's this massive skeleton creature in there that I kind of got to deal with first. So why don't you come and give me a hand? And once we smash this thing, then I'll come with you. But yeah, it looks, I love the design. It's so cool. I'm very tempted to steal it and somehow put it into my D&D game that I'm running at the moment. Bellerit talking about her gods, which makes this scene seem a little bit more prevalent. So we got this dragon, this blue dragon, and obviously if Bellerit is talking about her gods in this scene, the natural trailer hype building method would tell us that the gods and the elven gods of the Evanuris are somehow linked with this dragon and the next dragon we're going to see in a bit, because that is how storytelling works when you're trying to hype something up. We can see it's glowing blue in a few spots here. Also, it's got pustules or cysts along it up here, a bit more around the head, the front. It's got no horns, which I find really weird. It's also fuzzy, like it's got hair. So my guess is this is very corrupted. I have a theory of what this actually is. I think everyone has the same theory, but we'll see that in a second. And it's got these tendrils coming off it, so maybe linked with Gillenan. Also, some grey wardens approaching to attack it.
I believe in all.
This guy, first time I saw this trailer, I thought that was Rook. Actually, for a second, he looks a bit too much like the Rook they're using in this trailer. But he is definitely venatori. My guess is he is using blood magic. He's not using red lyrium. He could be using red lyrium. I think it's more likely it's blood magic. He's Tevinter. I keep saying venatori. He's Tevinter. I don't know if he is venatori. Odds are he probably is. And he's fighting Nev here. And we know that Nev is not a fan of the venatori. So it would make sense that any maybe personal quest for her would revolve around dealing with some venatori.
All of us. So let's get it done.
Rook and Darwin. We've actually seen that scene from a second ago, but I think I had a female Rook in the promotional image. Rook executing a member of the venatori. Then the difference, he's got his 2 weapons, which I'm pretty sure 2 weapons is still only a rogue ability, so maybe this is actually isn't Grey Warden Warrior, maybe this is Grey Warden Rogue, which actually makes a little sense because the metal like plate isn't actually covering him entirely. It's more cloth and leather, which is metal in certain parts. And he's obviously got the bow as well, and as far as I know, bows are just for rogues again. The range ability for warriors is throwing their shield, like Captain America. So I guess this actually is a rogue and not a warrior, as I said earlier on. And just a cool execution move. I love it. Right. Big explosion. Oh. We can see there's tentacles on the ground, so I wonder if this is still related to Gillenan. Can't tell if this is meant to be the scenes we saw in Antiva City or when she's fighting the Grey Wardens. Not really a lot of context from the background, unfortunately, but maybe that's good. Maybe this is just before we defeat her or after we defeat her or just before Elgernon comes and saves her. No clue who this person is, actually. Although there's a symbol there. Maybe they're meant to be a shadow dragon. The armor is purple, and the shadow dragon rook had purple armor, so maybe that's it. That symbol looks so familiar, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I've got no idea. Because we know that's rook on the left-hand side. Okay, this part here, this looks like it's Gillinon's body. I'll just try and move forward a bit more, get a bit of a clearer image. But this glowing part in the center, that's definitely her torso, and her tentacles are running off to the left-hand side there. Maybe just before this we like killed her, and now her body is trying to regenerate itself and bring her back to life. So maybe this will be like early on in the game. We'll kill her, we'll think, yay, we did it. She'll come back, not good, and then a part of the game is going to be finding a way to kill her and Elgernon permanently. So back in Minrathos, it's obviously incredibly blighted by how it looks. It's got this incredibly cool looking dragon here. I think it's safe to say this is Elgernon in a dragon-esque form. You can obviously shapeshift into this dragon. We're gonna see another Elven God shapeshift in just a second. So yeah, I think this is definitely Elgernon. It's got a very unique and weird look. Look weird to the feet look. Like they don't look like claws. They look like weird feet. And these horns here reminisce so much of his armor and design. So my guess is this is Elgernon in a dragon form, and obviously yeah, Minrathos, but all blighted up. So this is not the start of the game. This is either the end of the game or maybe like a 2/3 end of Act 2, start of Act 3 part. And the Dreadwolf. Look at him go. Oh, it's so cool that we're going to see like the Dreadwolf in his wolf form, like his actual Dreadwolf form, not just Solas. Assuming that is him. There's a theory that like the Dreadwolf and Solas are the same person, but are like physically they're two separate entities. Like the Dreadwolf is what's in the Fade, and Solas is what's in Thedas. So this isn't actually Solas as we know him, but it is an aspect or a part of Solas, if that makes sense. You also see these tentacles in the shot. Go back so we can see it a bit more. Yeah, like as I'm going through the frames, you can see the tentacles are moving themselves. So are they reaching out to Elgernon and Solas, or are they just kind of moving by themselves? Like, can Elgernon control them? Because that'd be really cool if he could. That's just our shot of the two gods. Don't need to look at that again. You know what? We will go back and just look at Solas because, or I should say, go back and look at the Dreadwolf. Like you can see here, he's got all the different eyes. So he's got 3 there, there's 2 there, there's probably a third one there. We just can't see it because it's on the other side of his snout. But yeah, that is so cool. I love this shot here. Skeleton Boy again. That's what I'm going to be calling him. Don't care what his actual name is. He's given off a big Dark Souls, Elden Ring boss fight thing, which I think would be really fun and really cool and be a bit different for a Dragon Age game. Dragon, that is the dragon from the last shot in Minrathos when it's fighting the Dreadwolves. This must be the first time we see it in the game. It looks like it's bursting out of this water in some elven runes. Maybe Arlathan, I don't know. I suppose we'll see. But yeah, this looks cool as hell. Now we've got a mage, an elven mage, Dalish by her tattoos, casting something. I have a feeling this is a character we're going to meet. One of the Veil Jumpers, my best guess, but no clue who it actually is or what she's doing. Fighting some sort of construct in Arlathan. The Game Informer article mentioned fighting some sort of construct creatures, so I guess this is them. Harding raising a stone wall to protect herself. This is a cool shot, actually, right here, just seeing Harding's face. Darkspawn Ogre infused with red lyrium. Rook fighting a Pride Demon. Shield there, that's a Veil Jumper shield, so maybe this armor isn't Warden, it's Veil Jumper. Or maybe it's just Warden armor and a Veil Jumper shield. I don't know. And 2 dragons. This is not the dragon from... Gonna try and get a nice shot. Yeah, that'll work. This is not the dragon we saw earlier on. Let's see, what was it? 243, just so I know what to jump back to. Yeah, you can see it there without having to flick over, actually. The horns look completely different. This is not the same dragon. Got a red and a blue dragon. Seems also, this must be where we're recruiting Tash with the dragon hunting, because it seems like there's some sort of fortifications. Bliss is here, which I assume this is here, like a Bliss has shot this dragon in the side. I think my guess and everyone's guess is that these are actually archdemons. The last 2 archdemons, it just makes the most sense, I think. So we know there's 7 old gods, and 5 of them have become archdemons after being corrupted by Darkspawn. Razakil and Lusican are the only 2 not to appear. Razakil, I should say, not Razakan. Razakil is the Dragon of Mystery, and Lusican is the Dragon of Night. This one here, the whole blue and dark aesthetic, is giving off Dragon of Night vibes to me. So maybe Lusican, Razakil. It is theorized that each of the 7 old gods / archdemons are connected to the Evanuris. So maybe Elgarnon and Gillenon come back, they awaken these 2 archdemons because either they're the only 2 left or they're specific archdemons and are using them to kind of fight on their behalf. When we first saw back in the gameplay trailer that there was 2 Evanuris coming back, I was a bit surprised because I was expecting 3, because only having 2 like major enemies to fight, to me in my head, seemed a little bit small. Like in Origins, like once you finish up with Ostagar in the prologue, you have Redcliffe mages, elves, dwarves, and then you go off to do the Landsmeet, and then you beat the game. In Dragon Age 2, it's Deep Roads, Kunari, Orsino, Meredith. And Inquisition, it's Mage / Templars, Haven, Grey Wardens, Orlesian Civil War, Mythal's Temple, Corypheus. Like, there's a lot of story beats for you to go through. Now, obviously, I don't know. I haven't seen this game. I don't know what's going on. There could be massive amounts of story beats and like specific plot points you're meant to reach. I don't know. But I just kind of thought 2 Evanuris seems a bit small. So maybe that's the point in of these 2 archdemons. They've come back. They're being used as kind of the support to the Evanuris in their goals. So not only do we have to stop Elgarnon and Gillenon, we've got to stop the 2 archdemons going around and possibly creating the double blight, which is something every Dragon Age fan has been theorizing about for so long. And I'm assuming this is also, Tash's recruitment. So maybe we kind of get this group together with Tash to take out this guy, and this one comes up at the like end to help. Oh, it looks so cool though. It looks dope. And there we have it. October 31st, Halloween. That is a Thursday. I did check ahead just to make sure. So book your days off work, people. I've got some annual leave to use up. I'm probably going to book that Thursday and Friday off and just have the weekends to play Veilguard, because that sounds like a lot of fun to me. In the back as well here, this looks like a skull. I thought at first like this part here was meant to be like a snake's mouth opening, but no, I think that's meant to be the jawline along here, and that's a skull eye up there. Not entirely sure. Could be. And then your pre-order bonus, which, we're not going to look at here. I'm going to click over to the Steam page and we'll look at it there. Right, so for the pre-order bonus, we have the Blood Dragon cosmetic armor. Blood Dragon armor was the pre-order, I believe, for Origins and 2, or at least definitely appeared in the both of them. But then it was only for warriors. Now we've got the warrior version, the mage version, and the rogue version. So I love the designs. The mage one is my favorite, but they all look really, really cool. They also say just for Rook. I don't know if this is the picture just saying, hey, this is Rook showing it off, or if it's for Rook only, but I said, like, I really like it. I think all 3 of them look good. The warrior one has some great warden vibes. But yeah, the mage one is totally my favorite. Down below, we have the standard and the deluxe edition. So obviously both come with the game. Pre-order, you get the Blood Dragon armor. But if you get the deluxe edition, you get some weapon and armor appearances. So these are just appearances. Cosmetic only, I imagine, is what they mean by appearances. So no stats or anything like that, which is why they're specifically locked for Rook and companions. And you can see them up here. Give off very ancient elven vibes to me, so they must be ancient elven armor. Probably going to find them in the lighthouse. So once you get to the lighthouse, there's probably a chest, and you open the chest and everything's in that, and that's like, oh yes, Solas was storing ancient elven armor here, which makes sense. Personally, between all of them, my favorite, I like this one here, which I assume is the warrior for Rook. Got like a hala on top, which is really, really cool. From the companions, I like Harding's one the most. I think she looks really cool in it. Love the big pointed shoulders on Emmerich here, but I'm going to give the win to Harding for her cool ass armor there. And that's about it. System requirements here, I'm going on PlayStation, so it's not a big deal for me, but obviously for all you PC players out there, I hope you can play this. I hope you don't have to break the bank getting a new PC or laptop or ordering new parts to upgrade your PC. Hopefully you can run it on what you already have. And finally, at the top we have the price. On Steam, it's €60 for the standard and 80 for the deluxe edition. I know on PlayStation it's actually a bit higher. It's 80 for the standard and 100 for the deluxe edition. Don't know why it's so much higher for the console version. I'm sure there's a reason, but it's a little bit annoying. Don't know if the Xbox version is any different, but I imagine Xbox is the same as PlayStation. But it is what it is. No point crying over, I guess. But yeah, €20 difference is, I think, quite a bit of a jump. I could be a bit more understanding about €10, but €20, God, that's a bit of a jump. But yeah, that's it. That was the trailer. What did you guys think? As I said, I loved the trailer. There was a lot of information there. There was a lot of hints there as well. Morrigan's coming back. Looks like we're getting 2 archdemons. Combat shots we had looked great. Oh, it was just so brilliant. I'm so happy with what we've seen. What was your guys' favorite parts? What surprised and shocked you the most? Did Morrigan shock you, or were you like, yeah, I saw that coming a mile away? Do you think those 2 dragons we saw at the end are archdemons? What do you think of Solas in his wolf form? Let me know if there's anything I missed and you guys caught, because I'd love to see what I may or may not have seen. Also, let me know, what are you guys going to be doing? Are you going to be pre-ordering? Are you going to go for the standard edition, the deluxe edition? Do let me know down in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a comment and a like and subscribe, because it will help the channel grow and it will help me do this more and more, because I really like doing this and I hope you guys like it too. And I shall see you all next time.